I've got a great pattern for you today. It's very simple, but it's been around almost 140 years. Frederick Halford of Hampshire, England came up with this one back in 1885. The pattern is the Black Gnat. There are a few variations of this thing out there, but the fly itself, meaning the actual insect, that certainly hasn't changed in 140 years. In fact, I'm tying this one because these were the only bugs I saw out when I was fishing this morning. Here's a picture of one of them next to a size 20 imitation. Now, I'd like to say I had a great day with this thing, but that wasn't the case. I caught 0 fish with it, but that wasn't the fault of the fly. This is a great pattern, and I have had some good days with it. Now, I won't make you sit through my fishing story, but if you'd like, hang around after the tie and I'll tell you about my morning. So there you go, a simple black gnat in a size 20. Not too difficult to tie. The only thing difficult is it's pretty small. Standard length barbless dry fly hook. And just for comparison, that's a dime. This is a small hook. And as such, I've stepped down my thread. This is not my regular 70 denier. This is a 12/0. Not sure what denier that equates to, but it is significantly smaller than a 70. And I do dub a little bit of a body on these. So put a little wax on. And this is a black superfine. So any black dry fly dubbing, you could probably tie this thing with just a thread body, but you might have to put too much thread on it to really get a big enough body. So I'm gonna put just a thin noodle of black dubbing here, and we'll wrap it on up to the, I'd say the back 2/3 or so. And we're going to put 2 slips of wing, and this is just a white or natural starling. Halford called for a starling, which if you don't have a white or light colored starling, use a flight feather from any kind of bird. I think we could probably do duck. This is actually a chicken, just from the birds in my backyard. When I go down and get the eggs and they have, shed some feathers, I'll just grab a couple of them. And they're kind of natural, but they look kind of white when you put it on a black fly. So go ahead and we'll wrap that back just a little bit. Want to be pretty careful with a fly as small as a 20 to not get too close to your eye. I mean, it's hard enough to get these things tied onto your tippet. If you get thread too close to the eye, it's even harder. And the hackle, just black dry fly dubbing. This is about the smallest feather I have on that cape. You gotta be kinda careful with it. Treat it kinda gingerly because that stem is pretty thin in this really small feather here. And I will use my spring-loaded hackle pliers here just because I don't have a whole lot to be grabbing. But I'm only going to do about 3 wraps. So just take your time here and gently put 3 wraps on it. This fly has really no weight. It doesn't need much to keep it floating. Okay, let's see if we can snip this off right here. Okay, we're not clobbering our eye just yet, but we will want to be careful. I would rather have an ugly fly with some of these feathers or fibers trapped than have an unfishable fly that I can't even get my tippet through. So just take a few wraps going back and then whip finish it. Now I'll tell you another secret. On a fly this small, I wouldn't put head cement on it. I don't actually. So that's it, my friends. I appreciate you watching. Stick around a couple minutes if you want to see my fishing adventure from this morning. Okay, thanks for sticking around. I have been very busy at work the last few months, and it's been tough making all these videos and keeping up with the comments, so I really appreciate y'all's patience. So I had a day off today, which a weekday off is pretty rare. I decided to go fishing. I headed up to Patuxent River, which I haven't been there in about 5 years. And now I remember why. It was just terrible water. It's only June, but it was really low and the water temp was over 70 degrees. So it's a little frustrating to drive over 2 hours to unfishable water, but then I started to think about it. I'm not at work, it's a beautiful day, I'm outdoors, just enjoy it. So I did. I drove over to another nearby river, this time the Little Patuxent, which is a feeder into the Middle Patuxent, which itself feeds into the main Patuxent. Now this is a really pretty river, but it's not great trout water. They do stock it, just not with very many and not very often. So most of the fish you'll pull out of here are just sunfish, maybe some fall fish, which a lot of people call creek chubs. And I did start out with that black gnat I just showed you, but I didn't have any luck with it. So I decided to go big and gaudy with a foam hopper, probably a size 6. I mean, this thing was pink body, white rubber legs, turkey slips and squirrel for a wing, even had some hackle and flash. I mean, this is a big mess of a fly, but the panfish love it. So I turned a couple of hours on unproductive water into some fun fishing, just out enjoying nature. Here's a couple minutes of it. Oh, there's one. What do we got, a little chub? Yep, little creek chub. That's probably what was trying to eat this thing. Let me wet my hand. Oh, there's one. What do we got on here? Another fall fish, I'll bet. No, a little sunfish. No, wait, what is it? Yeah, it's a little sunfish. Big, bright orange belly. Look at that. That's a pretty little fish, little being key, not too big, but look at that bright orange belly. Kind of like that guy. All right, get on back in there, buddy. Oh, there's another little guy. What is this? Probably another little sunfish. Hopefully it's not the same one I just threw back. Nah, this guy's a little smaller. Pretty hungry, I guess, to try and eat that big, gaudy looking hopper. But come on back in there, buddy.